What is going on, everybody? Gunnar here, and this is part 2 of some little goofy series that I'm making. And basically we're taking some junk bucktail, short, scraggly, scrappy, leftover stuff, and I'm showing you guys how to make 2 different silhouettes. We're doing a swimming bullfrog, so like a nice 6-inch, 5-inch BULKhead bullfrog from northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, muskies, pike, smallmouth galore, definitely lake largemouth, whatever you want to use it for. I did not put a weed guard on it. Don't everybody freak out. You could definitely go check out some of Pat Cohen's work and learn how to do weed guards and stuff like that. So, but that is our swimming bullfrog. We're going to take the same material list. So we got our scraggly bucktail. We're going to do some accent flash. This time I'm going to kind of do like an orangey because it's crayfishy and I like it. And then some, this is a Marabou soft hackle patch from Hareline. And what I'm going to do, I should have done this before, but I'm just going to rip off 2 of these soft hackles. And these are going to be our crayfish claws. Da-dum. And this is going to be a pretty big crayfish, like a nice 4-inch kind of beefy crayfish. So these are going to be some nice fat, you know, 1.5-inch long claws on here. And what I have for a weighting system, it's a little bit different than the jig BULKhead. These are medium cone heads that are designed for tube flies. So this is HMH tube fly gear. This is size medium cone head. I like the tube fly stuff because especially when you get to the 2-aughts, you get to the 4-aughts, the 6-aughts, the cone heads and large and stuff, they're actually thick enough to fit over your barb. So if you use like the standard cone heads, they're not going to all be able to fit over your barb in certain angles and get up on this 60-degree bend and get out of your way. So it's just really easy because they have a nice fat hole in the head because they're designed to go around a tube, right? So this is our 2-aught Ahrex 60-degree bent predator hook, bent streamer hook. Awesome jig hooks, the same one we did the BULKhead on from the beginner predator fly series, dressing it with 140 power thread. And the way we're going to do this fly is the first tie is going to be a BULKhead, and then as we go forward, you know, obviously a crayfish is biggest in the back, so you just need to sculpt it accordingly. And the finished silhouette is so cool. It's so cool. It's like the perfect jigging crayfish, hook point up, right on bottom, seamless cone head, absolutely awesome silhouette. So what you're going to do here is you're going to have a nice short kind of butt section. You're going to have a nice fat, long, kind of reversed high BULKhead section. This becomes your like horn. Like if you ever tie a shrimp pattern or a crayfish pattern, they have like a little horn where their eyes stick out on either side, right? This bucktail clump right here becomes your horn. When we reverse this, this becomes like your longest little underbody legs, and it becomes the flare, obviously, for all of our claws, which are just really simple soft hackle, right? We're just taking the soft hackle off the Marabou soft hackle patch in an olive color, and they're all barred. So you have this nice mottled crayfishy look to it. And I'm gonna get a pretty tight angle on my reverse tie there, and I'm going to splay these away from each other, right? So they're curving away from each other because the crayfish, when they're swimming, they'll swim with them tight, 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 and then when they hit the bottom, they go up into a defense position. So you want these splayed away from each other, and the water pressure, when you're stripping it, will cause them to collapse, which will look perfectly natural, and then they're stiff enough, because I'm going far enough back into my stem here, they're stiff enough that when it relaxes on the bottom or slack current or you stop stripping it, they naturally go out to defense posture, and it's absolutely picture perfect. So because the top of our fly is actually up here, I'm going to take our accent flash. This is Flashabou accent from Hedron. This is nice, like orangey, crayfishy color. And this is going to be your antennae, right? So crayfish have kind of translucent-y, shiny little antennas that stick over the top, and I love accent flash for it. It's like my favorite Flashabou to use for crayfish antenna. And I like them to be about 1/2 inch longer than my claws, and that's literally like, this is it, you guys. It's such a simple fly. And then because I want this to taper accordingly, it's only going to be a 3-stack fly. Should have kind of came in and tapered this. Got a little bit ahead of myself. But I am going to taper that now. Taper this before you guys do all your soft hackle and Flashabou. But you should know. If you don't, you can always come in and save it like I just did. But this is going to be a 3-stack bug because we want all the back right, or all the bulk right in the back, and I want to keep the body nice and sparse and tapering accordingly. And we're going to put a little soft hackle collar right behind this cone head to kind of fill it in and bulk it all up and make it look nice and clean so you don't see all this thread. If it bothers you, you can definitely come in, touch that up with Sharpie, or tie this whole fly with a black thread. But I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to come in with the second stack here. Nice and sparse. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So kind of short up front, nice fat long bulk building right up here. Flare that accordingly. Give that some extra wraps for tension. Reverse all of that. Bring your thread up. And I'm going to collapse that. Take a lot of the bulk out of it because I want that stack where my hackles are to really be the bulkiest section. So I'm going to taper this down quite a bit, and you're really almost using the tips, the bucktail tips, as your body and your legs, and you're just using this reverse tie section simply to get the correct crayfish silhouette. That's all it's for. Just coming in and sculpting it. So look at that. That right there would fish. Like, look at this fat tapering down, long claws and antennae. Like, that's legit. That's a crayfish right there. So I'm going to come. I want my last one to be right there. And then I need just enough room to palmer a soft hackle right at the front of this, which is going to give us a nice little modeling effect and hide everything and kind of cover up all that gross white thread that I'm leaving on there. You guys get the idea. So I'm going to come in, this time I'm going to kind of take out the longest fibers, and of all of your bucktail clumps, this one can be the sparsest, right? Because I need it to build the least amount of volume. I'm going to run it pretty long. Boom, doom, doom, because we're going to trim it way down, right? So you can leave those tag ends really long because we're going to trim it way down. I'm pinching and pulling. I need to get that to the other side there. Make sure that's all 360 degrees. Give it some extra tension wraps. Flare it all back. Thread up and collapse all of that. And then we're going to feather that way back. Make a nice, perfectly tapered crayfish. So I'm almost not doing it. Like, you could almost not do a BULKhead for the last one. I'm literally cutting that many of my butts off. But it's going to have the perfect, it just allows you to really taper this whole fly from start to finish, fat to skinny, all the way. It's just all about silhouette. It's that simple. And then I'm going to come in with a nice, and this is just for looks, it's just to clean everything up, it's just to hide everything. I'm going to take just kind of a fat section of my soft hackle here, and we'll just tie it in by the tip. So I'm just going to cut a little tiny wedge into it. Take that wedge, stick it up inside my cone here. Catch that. I'm not too worried about making this look that good. I'm just going to walk that. I'm not gonna lie, I think it looked a little better without the soft hackle. But push that right up on top of that. And that'll all flare down perfect in the water. What I'm gonna do is throw some super glue on there. Shove that cone head in place. Like so. Because we got a nice olive pattern here, I'm going to build a black thread dam right on my drop down arm to lock that cone head in place. So hopefully the fast and furious nature of this video didn't distract from anything, but that is like a total guide fly, ultra simplistic, true to silhouette, jigging crayfish, a little bit of movement and barring up front. Might be a really cool idea. Again, this is totally freestyling, so I'm just doing kind of off the cuff, but it's off the cuff with regards to a bulkhead. So everything is bulkhead, 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 right? And then you just feather in these materials, the soft hackle arms, the antennas, right? The silhouette, manipulating the silhouette. If you wanted to come in and put, you know, a hackle in between each stack and then leave it out at the end, that actually might look better. But this is just intended to really share the idea of a bulkhead crayfish jig fly that's like literally 3.5 inches, perfect smallmouth jig. Picture perfect smallmouth jig. So, thanks for watching that short little 2-part series. All the same materials, all the same techniques from the beginner predator fly series with 2 completely different silhouettes matching 2 completely different forages. And obviously it's a little bit tailored towards my neck of the woods, but hopefully you guys find that useful and can pull some nuggets out of there to apply to your waters and your forage. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.